Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with coverage of Game 3 of the 2021 World Championship match between the champion Magnus Carlsen from Norway and the challenger Ian Nepomniachtchi from Russia. We had 2 draws in the first 2 games and Game 3 was played on Sunday, November 28th in the conference center in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Nepomniachtchi was white and Carlsen was sitting behind the black pieces. This was the handshake before the game and let's see what happened. Like in Game 1, Nepomniachtchi opened with the e-pawn and Carlsen played e5. And for a number of moves we get the same opening from the Ruy Lopez. And who would blink first, who would deviate from Game 1 first? And it was on move 9 when in Game 1 Nepomniachtchi played h2, h3. And this time he played a2, a4. Which is another move that discourages the martial attack with d7, d5. So switching from one anti-martial to another. Bishop b7 from Carlsen, the d-pawns were played up. Knight bd2, the rook went to e8. Knight f1 on its way to g3 or e3. h6 and bishop d2. Taking ideas from black with knight a5 out of the position. The bishop is covering that square now. Knight chose to go to e3 and not to g3. Knight back to e7, possible ideas of c7, c5, and white played c4 on move 14. Carlsen took that pawn and the knight recaptures. There's a positional threat of knight a5, but also a tactical threat of knight takes e5. Let's show that idea, presuming it was white to play again. He would take on e5 with one of his knights. Let's take the c knight, and if you recapture there is knight takes e5 and black has a problem on f7. This would be very good for white. But thankfully it is black's move after knight takes c4 and Carlsen played knight c6, the knight coming back, covering both the a5 and e5 squares. Let's hear the 15th world champion Viswanathan Anand commenting on this move.
Magnus has gone back. After knight takes c4, he is stopping this threat by simply playing knight c6. That's a weird combination of moves.
After knight c6, Nepomniachtchi played rook c1 on the half-open file. You and I could also have come up with that move. a5 from Carlsen. I did not expect that move, said Anand. Let's listen to him.
Did not expect this move. But still, a5 is a very interesting committal decision because it basically suggests that black is going to do something to relieve the pressure because this pawn is quite weak now.
It is a double-edged move. Bishop c3 from Nepomniachtchi and bishop c8, rerouting the bishop, which now wants to go to either e6 or sometimes to g4. d3, d4. This push in the center is now possible because the bishop is no longer on b7. With that bishop on b7, the pawn on e4 would be hanging. After d4, Carlsen took, knight takes, and queen takes. And bishop e6, neutralizing white's strong bishop on b3. And here Nepomniachtchi played h3 after a 30-minute think. This small move reminded Grandmaster Anish Giri, in fact, of Magnus Carlsen. Let's listen.
He thought for half an hour. Okay, but it's nice. It's nice. It reminds me of Magnus. I had a couple of games with Magnus. He likes this. The favorite thing of Magnus, he has many good things, but favorite thing is to think for half an hour and then play, king h1 or h3. He really likes that.
Instead of h3, you could ask the question, why does white not take on a5? That pawn is attacked twice and only defended once, but it is not a good move for white. Let's look at this variation. Black then plays c5, attacking the queen. Queen d2 to make sure the knight is protected twice because it's now also attacked by the queen on d8. But then bishop takes b3. And after knight takes b3, black can win the pawn back on either a4 or e4. Taking on a5 is not good for white, and Nepomniachtchi, as said, played the little move h3. c6, keeping the tension in the position. Black had some more forcing options with d5. Anish Giri praised Carlsen for this choice. Let's hear him.
And that's one of the few things, and that's not the only thing, but that's one of the few things that separates him from the other top players, is that when he has equalized with black, when he has a choice to start the vacuum cleaner mode or keep the tension, he keeps the tension, and that in the long run gives him slightly better EV than just 50%. So that's a decision that I'm not surprised to see, and I'm kind of happy to see from him. Good to see that. And I think one reason he feels comfortable is that Jan took 30 minutes on h3.
But later Geary changed his mind and felt that black should have played d5 here. Again, let's listen to Grandmaster Anish Geary.
To be honest, looking back, c6 is simply a big inaccuracy, I think. Just d5 was the way to go. So kind of funny how we, we switched the hindsight. We just followed the hindsight logic.
So c6 was played, bishop back to c2, and only now d5. Attacking the knight, and e5 is counter-attacking black's knight. And now we see 8 captures in the next 9 moves, a very forcing line, leading to an endgame that some of the Grandmaster commentators said was about equal. The engine, by the way, agreed with them, and some thought it was better for white. Let's see what happened. Carlsen took the knight, the queens came off the board, and Nepomniachtchi recaptured the piece on f6. Bishop b4, f takes g7, the bishops got swapped, and the king recaptures on g7 to restore the material balance. You can argue white has a better pawn structure and a somewhat better bishop, but it proves not to be much. King f1 was played by Nepomniachtchi, the rook on the open file. Nepomniachtchi countered on the open file. King f6, a pair of rooks was swapped, and there goes the second pair of rooks. Now we have a bishop endgame. King e5, king e2, this game is a dead draw. f5, bishop c2, f4, let's show the remaining moves. Not much happened after that. Both players went back and forth to make the time control on move 40. And after king f2 on move 41, the time control had been reached. And the players shook hands. A quite uneventful day today after the fireworks in game 1 and especially game 2.
The first 3 games, Magnus has won the opening battle. Do you agree with that statement?
I think I wouldn't say so. I guess, for example, today, I assume I had a very pleasant edge, maybe like very small, but very, let's say, long term. In general, this Marshall is hard to break.
This is the handshake at the end of the game, and we have the 3rd draw in the match table. In the press conference there were quite a few questions on the fact that this was another draw. People remember the 12 draws from Carlsen-Caruana in 2018. But it's not the players' fault. These 2 grandmasters are so strong, a draw is a very likely result in a game between them. Monday will be a rest day and game 4 will be played on Tuesday the 30th of November. When the World Champion will have the white pieces, I will be here after the round to tell you what happened. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.